Recognition, power, and influence is your birthright, and this podcast shows you how to get there. Welcome to episode number 258. If you're like me, the end of 2024 is coming up like a bat out of H. It is coming up fast, and it feels a bit furious. But what I also know is on the other side of that furiosity are opportunities. And many of my clients are really taking advantage of some very strong and unexpected opportunities that are coming their way at the end of 2024. And I want you to be able to take advantage of those opportunities as well. So even if you feel like you have a huge plate full of a lot of things to do between now and the end of the year, listen to today's episode. You're going to learn not only what you can stop doing so that you can get even better results, but you're going to figure out exactly how you can set yourself up for a phenomenal 2025 just in the next few weeks. All right, let's get started.
Welcome to Women Changing Leadership. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and I teach you how to get promoted, get paid, and bring your whole self to the leadership table. I am on a mission to change organizations from the C-suite out because women are the new face of leadership, and we are doing it on our terms.
Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of Women Changing Leadership. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and super excited, as always, to be here with you again this week. The end of the year is an insane time. I think this year in particular, because Thanksgiving and Christmas and the end of the year seem to be squished together like a sandwich. Everything seems to be happening all at once. This weekend alone, I have my son's 8th birthday, his final soccer game. My daughter is appearing in a production of The Nutcracker. We're putting together this birthday party for my son. And then just today, we had a huge tsunami warning, an evacuation warning in Berkeley, California, which turned out to be totally fine. But that is what it feels like right now. And that's just in my personal life. For my clients and in business, it seems like things are equally as chaotic. Many people are still dealing with massive layoffs, or they're trying to come out on the other side. They have performance reviews coming up. They have Q4 goals that they have to hit. They're cramming everything in until the end of the year. And the best that we can hope for is just to relax during the last 2 weeks of the year. Now, I say all of that with so much love and compassion to say, I see you, I hear you, and and the and that I want to add to today's conversation is there is so much opportunity for you between now and at the end of the year. And it might not feel like you have any capacity to give or do anything else at work, for your family, for basically anything at all. But let me tell you, if you can lift your head up off of your desk for more than 5 seconds, if you can look around you, there are so many opportunities that happen at the end of the year that I want to make sure that you see them, that you're available for them, and that you're able to capitalize on them yourself. And it's just really easy to get caught up in all of the chaos and all of the noise of what's happening around us. And a large percentage of the work that I do with clients is I teach them how to pull out of the weeds, right? To actually look up and to kind of take in everything that's happening around them. You've heard me say on this podcast before that getting yourself out of the weeds is not something that you do through managing your time better. Instead, it's something that you do through communication. And the solution is always strategic thinking and how you're communicating about the challenges that you're facing. And so I'm dedicating today's episode to that level of thinking, that higher level of thinking that is actually able to solve some of the problems by seeing the opportunities that are right in front of you. And they are absolutely available to you to take advantage of between now and the end of the year. One of the things I always do at the end of the year, and if you missed this year's announcement, you can definitely take advantage of it next year, is that I offer coaching as a bonus during the month of December. So if you are somebody who is on the fence about coaching and you want to start working with me in January of 2025, and you're somebody who says, I'm too busy right now and I'll just focus and I'll think about it then in January, then I do this as an incentive to say, hey, let's get started now before the end of the year so that you can get this head start. But also, the other reason, selfishly, that I want you to get started with coaching now is so that you can actually capitalize on the opportunities that are right in front of you. So, even if you haven't worked with me as your coach, if I'm not working with you directly right now, you can still listen to today's podcast episode and start to take advantage of some of those opportunities right in front of you today, not later on, but today. I was talking to a woman inside of the leadership table, and she is actively looking for her next role. And she said that she read somewhere online through her research, thinking about her next role, that even though that there are less opportunities for, job applications during the month of December, there are also less applicants. And so that's the first place that I want to start today's conversation from, is this idea that there are less people actually focusing and putting their intention on what they want in their career in the month of December. So, strictly speaking, from a numbers perspective, you're already winning if you can turn up the dial just a little bit during the month of December rather than in January when everybody is trying to think about a new job. And yes, there are more job opportunities that pop up in January, but there are also a ton more applicants. And there are also a lot of people who put off job searching. And when you are somebody who can get ahead of the curve and you can actually start to look for your opportunities in December, and you can do some of the skills that I'm talking about on today's episode ahead of time, then you're going to be able to take January by storm, right? And so that's why I love to work with clients from the month of December all the way through January, February, March, so that we can really set ourselves up to be successful. Now, I have some clients that will sign up with me in November, December, and they're going to say, you know what, December is going to be really dead. I want to go ahead and sign up so I can take advantage of the bonus coaching during the month of December. But really, we're going to get started in January. So I just want to take it really easy, maybe make a few small updates to my resume, nothing really big. Do you know that that same person is also the person who is like, oh my God, so much is happening right now. So many opportunities are being presented to me right now. I'm having so many conversations. I might actually get a job offer before the end of the year. I didn't just make that up. That's a real person, right? That is one single person. And that is exactly what is happening to her, right? She was like, I'm just going to schedule a casual coaching conversation in December because nothing's happened. No, a lot is happening for her right now. And it's sort of that law of demand and being able to put herself out there and to continue going against the grain when everybody else is just dealing with the chaos, head down, trying to get their work done, or they've checked out and they said, you know what, I'm going to deal with this in January. I'm not going to do anything right now. And if you can be that person that stands out during this time, then you're already going to be a step above the rest. So, coaching is one thing, hiring a coach, like I said, I think it's so important to get some feedback. But I also want to share with you from a coaching perspective how important it is to have a level of support. If you are somebody who feels like there is a lot of chaos and you're having trouble because you're totally stuck in the weeds, then having a coach is a game changer, right? It changes everything. And here's why. Some people think that having a coach is going to add one more thing, or if I have to do career development on top of my job and my family and everything else, then I'm just going to explode, right? That's not true. because the best thing that I bring out in our coaching conversations is clarity, right? So think about all of the indecision that you're in all week long, all of the confusion that you're in, all of the chaos that you're feeling. And I'm able to pull you out in a single 45-minute conversation. It sounds like too good to be true, but it's not. It's actually happening. And that I recommend to anybody. So whether you work with me or you have yourself another coach. Now, I also want to give you a caveat. I'm not talking about going and getting yourself a mentor or a sponsor, even, because the problem with mentor sponsors or your cousin who likes to give you career advice is that they don't give you pointed, directed, strategic career advice quickly, right? Like that is what is required to actually help you feel better. The people who a lot of you might be surrounding yourself with are just telling you things to do. So they're giving you advice, but then you have to weed through it and you have to decipher yourself. But a good coach is able to just quickly pinpoint what it is that you need to do, where you need to take action, where you need to clear your thoughts, where you have clarity so that you can move forward in a quick, precise way. And then rest for the rest of the week. Give yourself that freedom to have that space to actually think strategically for your job. It's an incredible gift. So, if you're wanting to give yourself and pamper yourself and take care of yourself this year, get yourself some actual support. There are so many different types of coaches out there. I myself consider myself the trifecta. I am at its core an executive coach. I help with career coaching as well. Of course, I'm helping women get promoted. And I'm also a life coach because let's just face it, that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years as my self practice and studying so many different spiritual practices. And I bring that mindset and that holistic view to all of the coaching that I do. So get yourself some support and you will automatically feel better. Recommend, like I already said, getting it done in December rather than waiting until January. Now, the next thing that I want to kind of point out is I already talked about how people apply for jobs in the month of December and there's less people applying, so you can sort of stand out from the noise. So then that goes back to this idea of getting your assets in order. And by your assets, I mean LinkedIn profile, your resume, things like this that you want to do updates to. Now, before you start rolling your eyes and you say, yes, Stacy, I know I need to do that, but I'm very stressed at work or I'm just too busy or I'll focus. God forbid, please do not focus on this when it's vacation time at the end of the year. Please don't use your vacation time to update your LinkedIn profile and update your resume. I know you're doing it. Stop it. The reason I'm pointing this out is that you need to get support and help in this area as well. Because I have people who will agonize over their resume for like the longest period of time on their own, left to their own devices. And then we work together and I'm able to pinpoint, hey, change these 3 or 4 things on your resume and everything else is going to clear up, right? I most recently, just last month, I had a woman who worked with a full-on resume service, updating her resume. She did it also for herself. She kept making iterations. She came to me saying she applied for job after job after job, wasn't getting any hits, wasn't even getting called in for interviews. I took one look at her resume, told her to change 3 things. She submitted it and got the first interview that she submitted to, right? This isn't just magic. I'm able to read the resume and see what people need to hear and see. So I have an executive interview magic course available to you. This is a video on demand course that you can access right now. So it comes with a full LinkedIn profile review. I walk you through some of my clients' examples, and you can make very quick, applicable tweaks to your personal resume and LinkedIn using my formula. And I also teach you how to get your interview stories in order as well. And so you can go through your interview story bank and learn my approach to answering questions better than the STAR method and start updating your answer bank, right? This is part of getting your assets in order. I don't want you sitting down at your desk, giving yourself a bunch of shoulds and be like, yeah, I should really do that. I want you to be told what to do, how to update it so that by the end of December, you have all of your assets all lined up so that come January, you're ready to go and hit the ground running, right? So whether you hire me as your one-on-one coach or you take my interview magic course, either way, you are going to be set. Oh, by the way, both of those links to whichever direction you want to go will be in the show notes. You can book a call with me and we can talk about which will be the better fit for you. All right, now for some other things that you can do and look out for as you're thinking about the end of the year. Many of you are having casual networking opportunities. And one of the things that I notice about a lot of my clients is that they're very, very good at relationship building. They're either really great at relationship building, meaning they have a very vast network and they know a lot of people. They feel very comfortable building relationships. But the problem is that they can't influence anybody, right? Like they know a lot of people, but they still aren't happy in their job, or they still struggle when it comes to getting somebody to recommend them or refer them to certain opportunities. So that's one side. And then the other 50% of my clients can't stand networking, are terrible at building relationships. And guess what? They're also not able to influence people. Now, whether you're good at building relationships or not, you can learn the skill of influencing. It's actually a skill. It's actually a learned skill. It's not something that is dependent on you being an extrovert or an introvert. It's something that you can just do right now, today, out of the box, just like go and be an influencer, not like a social media influencer, but like a person who actually gets other people to take action on their behalf. And so I challenge you in your networking, or even if you're just having a casual lunch or a conversation with somebody over the holidays. I know you don't want to make it about work, and I don't want you to make these conversations about work, but I challenge you to let them know towards the end that you are looking for your next leadership opportunity. Now, if you've been listening to my podcast for more than 5 minutes, you know that I believe in always be interviewing. So this is a really big philosophy of mine, is that we're always looking for those opportunities where we can make the biggest impact and really do the work that matters at our organization. And so I recommend that even if you are in a job that you love, you let people know that you are always looking for your next leadership opportunity, right? So just let people know, put those feelers out there, because now what's going to happen is they're going to think about you. They might be able to introduce you to somebody. They might be able to make a connection, right? And when that is a way that you can have opportunities come to you. Now, you didn't have to say exactly what you were looking for. You didn't have to go through your whole bio. You didn't have to pitch yourself. Just say, I'm looking for my next leadership opportunity. Maybe you could include an industry if they have no idea what you do, but you're looking for a leadership role. I mean, this is almost guaranteed. If you're listening to this podcast, you are looking for a leadership role. You can leave it as simple as that. That way, you're just sort of telling the universe that you're looking to make a bigger impact, that you're looking to take on a higher level of responsibility, whatever that might be. And then you're going to find that these opportunities are going to start to come your way, like seemingly out of left field, or be like, well, this whole idea of right time, right place, like I actually created this for myself. I actually created these opportunities. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with turning some of your casual networking conversations into these really influencing conversations where you get other people to act on your behalf. Again, I have full processes on what to say, how to say it, who to say it to in my 15-minute ally building process. But even just to start out, to just start letting people know, just planting that seed that you're looking for your next leadership opportunity, you're going to start to know the benefits coming back in your way. Okay. Another thing is I started to talk about, getting yourself out of the weeds. And for many of you, if you feel really bombarded and stressed at work, or, perhaps, you're dealing with a lot of chaos, whether it's people are getting laid off or a lot of multiple reorgs and things like that, I really recommend a very fine-tuned, age-old approach, which is called not giving a shit. Caring less. I want you to challenge yourself over these next 3 weeks to care less, but about the right thing. So today's podcast episode, I'm talking about taking more action for your career, but that is going to require you to care a little bit less at work. And so, what does that mean? Especially if you have deadlines and you have things that you need, is just to really think about even just the smallest thing that I can care a little bit less about. Something that I often try and remind my clients is that their B minus is somebody else's A plus. So you probably already have perfectionist tendencies as it is. So maybe just cut back, pull back a little bit less. But you have to know where you're going to focus your intention on instead. And, if you're finding yourself somebody who is putting off career development, putting off being able to, really focus on what's next for you in your career until 2025, then I recommend this approach even more, that caring less about your work now, you know, will allow you to start to put that intention behind your career in 2024. We have plenty of weeks left to start to open up doors and opportunities for you. And really, honestly, now is the energetic time to truthfully make that happen. Now, imagine that you're caring less at work and you have this open space, but you don't want to just spend it on updating your resume and updating your LinkedIn profile. Instead, what I recommend is also using that energy to meet with other leaders at work. Now, the good news is that this is actually going to help your job. It's not always about leaving the company and forgetting about the company, but you're going to be much more intentional about how you're spending your time. So that's where the 15-minute ally meeting approach comes in. So you're going to actually schedule 15-minute ally meetings with leaders across your organization. Now, don't worry, they're busy too, but they also love this space to do something different, to be able to think outside of the box. People are very open to casual conversations over the holidays, over the breaks, because they want to connect in a deeper way. They're desiring to connect. And as long as you value their time and you keep it to 15 minutes or less, as long as my number one rule of 15-minute ally meetings is that you don't talk about work, meaning you're not having a bunch of meetings with people so you can talk about projects or finally come to the conclusion of this thing that's been gnawing at you, or even having 15-minute meetings so you can talk about this thing that they owe you as part of your job. No, you're calling these meetings to just genuinely connect, to learn something from them, to talk about the industry. I have an entire worksheet for you that has 20 questions that you could ask at your next 15-minute ally meeting. It's stacymayer.com/questions. You can download this and you can bring those questions into the conversation. Again, it's only 15 minutes, so you just need one good, juicy conversation. The good news is that you'll be doing your job. So I'm not recommending that you slack off at your job so you can go find a job someplace else. I'm saying stay focused in your job, but be more intentional, because I guarantee a lot of the things that you're stressed about, that you're putting your energy into right now, is not 150% necessary, and it's definitely not going to get you to that other side. In fact, being in the weeds is going to keep you exactly where you are. 2 reasons. One, because who's going to promote you if you're already overwhelmed? I know it seems counterintuitive. You need resources, yada, 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 but nobody trusts you, right? You can't even pull yourself out of the weeds now. Why would they promote you? And number two, because you're so focused on your work, you're not focusing on your career development. And Joe over there is focusing on his career development. And guess what? He's getting promoted. When? The second to last week of December. Nearly impossible timing, but yep, he did it. So I want to encourage you really during this end of year time to pull your head up from your desk, to look around for opportunities, to not wait until January. January's busyness will come faster than you even know. Instead, use this as an opportunity to be more intentional with your development, to really think about what's next for you, and to get the support that you need. So, whether it is coaching or taking one of my courses, or it is simply connecting with somebody who can actually tell you what to do, not just like telling you a bunch of general advice that you have to decipher, but really kind of saying, hey, in your next meeting with your boss, ding, 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 this is what I do in coaching. In your next meeting with your boss, say this, you say this, and then all of a sudden your boss is inviting you to this major board meeting at the end of the year. Again, true story, right? You want to open up those opportunities for yourself even now. I know that this is available to you. It is available to my clients right now. It is available to me as I continue to communicate with you and make it through this weekend with my lovely 8-year-old and my beautiful performer in the Nutcracker. And I am so excited to see what is in store for you in 2025. That is why I'm recording this episode, so that we can all get going and have that amazing, not just head start, but already have opportunities lined up even before the end of the year. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Before you go, I have a question for you. Do you know how close you are to your next promotion? Really? Not what your boss has told you, not what you even believe to be true, but have you actually taken the time to sit down, take an assessment, review the 5 categories that it takes to get promoted into senior executive leadership positions, and decided where you fall in each category, and given yourself a ranking on a scale of 1 to 10 of how close you are to getting your next promotion? Have you done this? Well, now's your chance. If that feels interesting to you and you're like, hey, I want to know exactly how close I might actually be, or how far away you might be, and what it's going to take to get you even closer, then I invite you to take my promotability quiz. This is a quiz that I put together with practical tips that actually tell you where you're lacking and where you're winning. What are the areas that you actually need to improve, and not necessarily what your boss is telling you all the time, so that you can take concrete steps towards landing that next promotion and changing the face of the leadership table. Go to yourpromotabilityscore.com to take your free assessment today. Yourpromotabilityscore.com, and let me know how it goes.